Now, how do we address this problem? 5 years ago, the internet was stationary. You needed a desk and a platform. Now it is mobile. So my term, what I will use today, and in the work we do for Nokia, mobility is the issue. Mobility by any means. I don't care if it's on the internet, if it's on any other. Mobility is the new lifestyle. In mobility, we need to engage people right now. So the activity is the economy. Why? Because we can. So here's a few examples of March 21st, 2007. Our friend, Paul McCartney, signs a deal with Starbucks. You knew that, right? Was this the signal of something? So at the edge where innovation needs to happen, we need to keep binoculars out, actually infrared and night scopes, to see what does this mean. But we don't know what this means until we ask the right questions. So what question do we ask? Well, more you ask, more you see. Even a glass of water, if you ask a couple of questions, you see more. A typical example is from my own life. March 12, 1961, Yuri Gagarin is sent to space. First Soviet cosmonaut to go to space. My grandmother is ironing clothes. I was in Romania, Bucharest, Romania, neighbors with the Russians. And my sister walks excited into the room and says, "Grandmother, the Russians, the Soviet Union, sent comrade Yuri Gagarin to space." My grandmother's question was, is this good for the Jews? We were Jewish, you see, in Romania. This was a relevant question. It turned out that the space race was good for the Jews. And I know that you will have this thing in your mind for the rest of the week. So what does it mean to me? That's what the question means. What does it mean to me? Is this good to my organization? It is good to my propagation of self. How do I belong now into a system in which something is about to happen that will reshape everything? And the space race has reshaped culture, technology, and so on. So signals have meaning. So the first thing we do is ask a few questions. When you see this, the questions to be asked are not about what you see, but about what you don't see. What is in the black space? What is in that dark space? How far does it go? How many of us knew in the beginning that this thing was going to the infinite? Very few, I think. We never believed it would be 30,000, 35,000 applications, less than a year since the App Store was introduced. So the questions you ask have to consider this. Any part is a manifestation of the whole and not just a component of it. In strategic planning and strategic foresight, the understanding of the unfolding of the map by questioning what you see is fundamental. Goethe said that, by the way. It's not my quote. I should have had his name on it. So this is Christopher Columbus, famous guy, lost his way to Hindustan. He was searching for pepper. Because pepper is yum. It gives you a thing, okay? So he didn't go for oil or he didn't go for gold initially. He was searching for spices. He got lost, inept navigation, ends up in a place. These people are naked on the beach. They look at three guys dressed like nobody they have seen before, and they don't ask the right questions. If they were asking the right questions, they would have killed Christopher Columbus and forever changed history, because nobody would have given him another guy more money, because the Spaniards were broke. And especially if you kill Columbus, then the danger is there. So if you look at him and imagine this as being Skype, Craigslist, any technology, any behavior, everything manifests itself in one entity, in one moment, but you need to unfold it. It was clear that Craigslist will bankrupt the newspaper business, wasn't it? From the beginning. So what do you see? You see a boat you've never seen before, weapons you've never seen before. So you can actually, with some intuition, understand that beyond the horizon, there are three boats like that, with more people like that, and some stuff protecting them. And beyond that horizon, more things. And then the symbol becomes the church, and then more things. So essentially, this is the map unfolded. Now, In large corporations, we are interested in the next quarter, so people get to deal with this thing, which is a huge mistake. Strategically, you have to deal actually not with what you see. So the thing, I call it, because the thing could be anything. Hindsight doesn't help you. You've never seen a boat that size. When fire shows up and changes civilization, there is no hindsight you can apply to fire because you never had fire. So you have no clue how your hindsight will help you understand what fire can do. So you have hindsight, insight, foresight. So Columbus, Craigslist, Zigbee, Skype, Blick, App Store, location-based services. Location-based services is the business in which Nokia and Navteq will probably achieve their greatest monetization. How many people know exactly what that is? I just want to know. Excellent. You are with me. Okay. That's what you have to be afraid of. So when you see this, the clever strategist gets ready for this. This is what the job of innovating at the edge is about. It's not creating applications, but creating business models that take into account that everything will be reshaped from the perspective of habit. We need a new context. So that needs mapping. So what I do all day, I add elements to a map. Once you build a map of digital spaces, you just need to add a few things every month. So don't be afraid, it's going to be complicated initially, but if you build it, you just have to add little things. What you see in the dots, you see stuff that you know will happen, but it doesn't have a name yet. So things happen in two domains: behavior, people embrace it, and technology, people perfect it. So it gets cheaper and smaller, therefore more stuff happens, and it starts growing. So then technologies become behaviors. This is what we monetize, behavior. And then it grows, it grows, it grows, and then you have trends. This is from TrendWatch, by the way. Most of the behavioral ones are TrendWatch. So trend watching has 16,000 people around the world, photographing, explaining, debating, and defining. And then they give a label to stuff, and one of the interesting new labels, this is from last week, the latest ones, is a thing you'll see in the corner called online oxygen. Online oxygen is what we breathe right now. All of you are connected, right? Some of you are probably Googling me right now. In the back, I saw you Google earlier, OCAD. But it's normal, I find it normal. I think Facebook is not an option for our students when they open their laptops. Boom, Facebook is, it has to be there. So online oxygen is the recognition that we depend now for everything on online presence of ourselves, our voice to be heard, our friends to see us, and so on. So how do we innovate? Products, services, experiences, new business models, content in this new context. What does it take? And I will offer a few proposals.